So you can see that fan working. It's blowing that sign straight up from where it is. Now let's take a look at the second half of our circuit. If you remember back at our diagram, so we've set up our basic input, we've set up the bottom half of that clock that's going to point to the fan, and now we're going to set up a second clock that essentially produces sand blocks for this thing to blow around. You can see up there I've got 2 sand blocks loaded already, and below it I've got a little spacer to make sure that they don't fall, because I don't want them to fall until I'm ready for them to fall. But you can see if I did take those 2 blocks away, let's watch them fall, and that fan will blow them around. So there you go, now we've got a working fan. I'm going to go ahead and turn our circuit off. Alright, now our circuit's turned off and we can get back to work on making it. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we're going to make 2 more tick delays. The big difference between these and the other tick delays that we made is that this clock is going to run a lot slower because I don't want it to generate sand. I want to make sure that the fan pulses way more often than we put new sand into this machine. That way it's not going to get gunked up and filled with sand. So we'll go back through my commands here. There's a wonderful add-on that I'm using called Improved Chat, which I highly recommend if you're going to start working with VoxelTronix in the future, because it's with the number of commands that you revisit, it's pretty handy to have this kind of thing. So there's my chip delay, VT, chipcom, set 1. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one to be 1 just like the others. And then here will be my timer circuit, which essentially determines waiting. So we'll make 1 more tick delay, and I'm going to set this guy to 10. The last chip in this set, represented by this monitor here, is what's called a frame paste. So frame paste allows you to select a cuboid of blocks that VoxelTronix will remember and paste in anytime that you want. There's also a more complicated frame animation chip, which is what you saw working on that troll. We've animated a couple lizards, some doors, and things like that. This is just a frame paste, so this is a really simple animation circuit that just places whatever you input to it just in 1 frame. But it's a lot simpler to use than the animation circuit and makes a better example. So I'm going to right click this guy here, and we're going to VT, new chip, and this is a frame paste chip. If you saw any of the fireworks machines that we showed the other night, all of those worked on a frame paste where it just kind of threw in a block of TNT. Here we're just going to be throwing in a couple blocks of sand. So now what this frame paste chip needs to know is which blocks should I work on, which blocks are best for me to remember about. So we're just going to put 2 blocks into it this time because that's really all we need. And I'm going to point right at the first block that we want. I'm going to do VT chipcom, set A, and that determines our first cuboid point. And this is going to be a very small cuboid. We're just going to do another block behind it, or underneath it rather. So set B, and there you go. Now our frame is created of 2 blocks, and now we're ready to start linking up these chips. So I'm going to take my same basic input, because I want to turn both of these clocks on at the same time, link my console to my tick delay, my tick delay, to my tick delay, that tick delay back to this tick delay, and then this tick delay to our frame paste chip. So what we should have on our hands now is a sand juggling machine that will blow sand blocks up that fall. So I'll go ahead and turn our machine on. Okay, it should be blowing, and let's take the support underneath from the sand blocks, and there you go. So as you can see, it's piling up more and more sand blocks in this device, and they're catching on the roof. So what I want to do next is set this second iron block here. This is going to act as something to get rid of sand blocks as they blow up toward the top. So let's go ahead and turn our circuit off one more time. Clean up any leftover sand, and we'll set up 1 more fan here. There's our fan, VT, chip COM, and this is going to be a strength Z5. So what this is going to do is this is going to blow things straight ahead from where I'm looking. We're going to set this guy's radius to, we'll say 2. We'll put a nice offset on it of -1, and we'll go ahead and give it that same length of 10. So this fan also now needs an output. We'll take the same output that powers our bottom fan, and we'll link that up to our top fan, which blows sideways. Clean up a few more sand blocks here. All right. Looking good. So now let's turn this guy on. So now our frame paste chip should be making sand. Our bottom fan, this iron block, should be blowing it up, and our top fan back here should be blowing it forward once it reaches the top. So let's turn it on. Okay, I see that going. Oh, and there we go. Now we've got a nice sand cannon. So basically what we've built here is we've built an automatic wall building device. If I stand back a little bit, and we'll get a view. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering how I'm flying, this is the Zombies mod pack fly mod. So you can Google that. Zombie spelled Z-O-M-B-E. Please stop asking what we use to fly. It's very annoying. If I wanted to make this machine go faster, retouch up our clock here. So this tick delay that was waiting for 10 units, let's speed it up to 5. And now we should be really cooking. So crouching and left clicking allows you to touch up an existing chip's settings. So now that I've got that chip selected, I'll do a little chip COM, and we'll say set 5 instead of set 10. And so it should be making quite a bit more sand blocks there. As you can see, our rate of wall building has nearly doubled. We're looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this run for a few minutes, and we're going to watch this machine build a wall for us.